I think I just heard something coming from the room right around the corner here. We're gonna go check it out. It's right in there. This room right there. Let's go see. Scared me. Oh wow. Scared the shit out of me. Oh wow. Scared me for real. Through old footage of my hard drive, I'm going to reflect on the parallels between my films and my real life. In this part 2, I'm looking back again at an interview I shot with my mom 13 years ago. This inspired me to interview her again. What happens when you die? I'm on a journey to find that answer, and my conclusion was absolutely unexpected.
That after you die, that you must go someplace. And
I realized I was asking the same questions then as I am now.
To die?
One day around 15 years old, I was eating breakfast. I had grown up in the Christian faith and always took my hat off before eating. It was a habit I did compulsively. I thought it was disrespectful to God. My beliefs waning and my rebellious streak starting to come through, I kept it on while I took bites of my cereal. When nothing happened, I used that wiggle room to explore more. Since that moment, I adhered to an atheism belief system, and until very recently I didn't believe in any God, and lived by the belief that nothing happened when you died. Okay. Are you religious?
I'm spiritual, yeah, I believe in God.
This journey seems intentional in its timing. At 31 years old, in financial disarray, career struggles, and unhappy with the health of my body, I found myself watching a comedy special from Pete Holmes. He mentions this great quote. The road manager for AC/DC, Barry Taylor, said, "God is the name of the blanket we throw over mystery to give it shape." Pete challenges atheists in this special not to believe in something else, but to question their own beliefs and to face the truths of the parallels from the beliefs they have and the beliefs of any other mainstream religion. It changed my perspective in the most unlikely of places. I look back at the interview with my mom, and I see in the beginning how I was challenging her beliefs in a literal sense.
I can't imagine living in this world as a kid, not knowing any of that. What would you think? You wouldn't think it. You wouldn't know enough to think about what's the possibilities. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you're not,
I like disagree with you actually.
Do you?
Yeah, because I feel like. But this was not the way. Eventually, I would settle and let her talk, and we even hit a beautiful moment that was possible for the following reasons. I asked about her life and tried to understand what makes her, her.
My mom died and I felt my mom around. I felt her around. Maybe because my dad was here and she needed to be around for him. I don't know. But my dad, it was like he was gone and he was done. That was it here. That was it here. I never felt him around again. I had a picture of him, and I have a picture of an angel in our bedroom, and I had a picture of my dad, because they passed out pictures at the funeral. And one day, that picture was just gone. And I looked everywhere for it. I moved my furniture. I mean, it was just gone. I've never found it again.
I listened and tried not to judge on her beliefs, but let her follow her thoughts and gave her time to say all she needed to say without throwing sticks in the road. I steered her away from what she saw on the internet and on TV and leaned into personal experiences and stories about her life.
Right, but I did get a dog named Penny. And she was a Chihuahua, and she was so cute and so wild, not trained. I was just walking uptown with her, didn't have her on a leash or anything. And I was probably 2nd or 3rd grade, and all of a sudden I heard, and the lady jumped out of her car, and somebody grabbed me so I couldn't see, and it was like devastating to me. I just remember, they threw me in the gas station. They got me, and I'm in the gas station, and I'm like, "Where's my dog? Where's Penny?" And I remember crying hysterically. But that's all I remember. I mean, it was pretty traumatic, And then she took. I saw a big pool of red blood.
Like on the pavement?
On the road, and there was no Penny.
When we came across the death of my grandfather, we shared in grief.
And anyway, so that third week, I was talking on the phone, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing so well, sis." And I said, "Dad, you got this. You can do this." He said, "No, I can't." He goes, I'm tired now, and I want to go home." And I said, I know we're trying to get you home, Dad." And he goes, "No, I want to go home." And I'm like, home? Like where you came from home? And he goes, "Yes, I'm ready." And I said, I was like, "Oh no, Dad, you gotta, think positive. You're gonna get through this, And that he wasn't, and I knew he wasn't. I knew that was it, that he was done. Because before then the next day he'd call and say, "You know what? I'm gonna have a better attitude. I'm gonna do my best." We had done through a couple days of that, and then the next day it was like he told the nurses, "Take me off of everything, turn it off, just let me go." And we didn't know that at the time. And then they called my sister and said, "Your dad wants to be off everything. We're gonna have to give him something to make it more comfortable for him." He said he would take something to make it more comfortable for him, but his heart is so weak, he died of congestive heart failure, basically is what they said. Your heart wears out. And he said to me, he could talk to each of us, and he just...
I'm crying too.
He told me he loved me, and that he was really proud of me. And he apologized for something that he did years ago. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to go to be a nurse. And he had said to me, "Susie, you have to have perfect grades." And I didn't care. I didn't care what my grades were. I mean, no one really cared if I did. I mean, I'm sure they did, but they didn't ask. There was always so much going on that they didn't really have time. And so he told me that he was sorry about that because he knew I could have done it. And I needed to hear that. Because after that, I was like, "Yeah, I can do this. I got this." So it really made me think. It really made me think about words and how, when you say them to your kids or to people, that they mean a lot. Especially people that that love you. It means so much to believe in somebody. Because sometimes when they don't believe, you need to believe. So I feel really fortunate to be able to have gone through that. It's for him to have said that, and for me to tell him I was sorry for the things I had done and said, but that I loved him very much. And then at that time he said, hey, it's kind of funny. At that time he said, "Oh, and by the way, your mom stopped to say hi, stopped to see me today." And then I knew it was all over. I was thinking to myself, if Mom stopped by to get you, then you're going with her, because she was not putting up with anything. You're going with her. And then I thought later, and after he was buried and everything, I saw that it's my mom and my dad. My dad, my sister, and my mom. And I saw that there's an open space over here. It's for Bev. And I said, "What in the hell's Mom gonna think when she gets here?"
Whenever I would hit a wall in life, my mom always gave me the same advice. Do what you gotta do to get where you're going. This seems so vague and frustrating, but I think I figured it out. When you believe in somebody, you have the power to change the trajectory of their life. Growing up, my mom always told us we were special and that we could accomplish anything we wanted when we grew up. No guardrails, no qualifiers, just a mother's belief. I always thought this was a hindrance to my life. I thought she didn't prepare us for real life and how hard it can be. But I've discovered over time that what she gave us was a gift. She put the idea in our head that we could reach our goals and that we should chase our passions. And even though it's frustrating, when I'm down and out, with nothing left in the tank, I hear her voice saying, "Do what you gotta do to get where you're going." Which I now know is her saying, "I believe in you."